Hello, this is Miss Pearson. So I am going to do a quick video on just recapping what we did for lesson three. Lesson three was all about brainstorming for your collage, okay? All right, so as you can see, I have up here the definition of connections, which essentially is a relationship in which a person, thing, or idea is linked or associated with something else. If you want to write that down in your visual journaling and you have not done already, just make sure you go ahead and do that. The second thing is literal versus symbolic. This is the most important part that I want you to get across. Literal means the exact words of the original text, right? Or in this case, of the original artwork. So it is the exact words or a literal translation of what is going on, right? Symbolic is where it represents another idea or it has an association of something, right? So if there's an art piece about of ice cream, a literal translation would be an art piece that has ice cream in it, right? If it was a symbolic one, then it would probably have some other symbol or some other type of text or something like that. But it wouldn't necessarily have that actual image of ice cream. It would have something else in order to represent or bring association to that ice cream. That was just a very simple analogy. If that didn't click with you, I'm going to go over some more examples. All right. So this next thing is you have your literal connections and your symbolic connections. And we're going to break this down. I'm going to go ahead and show my sketchbook real fast. Here we go. And let's zoom this in just a little bit. I'm going to fix this up real fast. I'll be back. All right, here we go. So right here, it says person I am connecting with for my collage. It says person I am connecting with for my collage. This one right here says literal connections, symbolic connections. Here's our T-chart. You can go ahead and add that into your sketchbook if you haven't already. And at the very bottom is artistic choices, artistic choices. Right? So literal connections are things that literally connect and bring things together. An example would be if you were there for the do now, then you would be familiar with this. If you were not there for the do now, that's okay. You can still follow along. A literal connection would be a paperclip, because a paperclip connects papers together, brings papers together, binds them together, you can also say, right? Another thing is a rubber band. A rubber band, right? So if you wrap up a bunch of posters and you put a rubber band around them, you are binding those posters together after you rolled them up. Another thing could be a chain or a rope. Either one of those, chain / rope, serves kind of a similar purpose, tying it. You can even think more creatively, like an earring, right? How do I spell earring? Oh, I know. Taha. Ear ring. There we go. An earring or like a hairband, things like that. And then you can take a moment and write down something else, maybe that I did not write down, but something else that you think of for a literal connection. Okay, go ahead and just write down one or two. All right, next one, and pause this if you ever need more time. But I'm moving on to our next one, symbolic. Now for the symbolic one here, you're going to be thinking of symbolic connections based off of your person that you are connecting to for your collage, okay? So in your collage, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again. And let's see, let's go back to our slide here. In your collage, you're going to be deciding one person, either a family member, a friend, or even a pet. We're going to stray away from famous people because we don't personally connect with them, right? But pick one person, that is all, that you feel personally connected to, whoever was your first thought is generally like instinctually the one that you feel most connected to, or you might have some really solid ideas. For me, I'm going to write my grandmother. My grandmother. Once I've decided that person, I'm writing it on the top box there. Now I know my grandmother. For my symbolic connections with my grandmother, that consists of favorite memories, stories, shared values, and interest. And I'm going to delete that one because we don't really need that. Okay. So a favorite memory for me with my grandmother would be traveling to Arizona. I'm also going to say like Christmas is a great memory. Any memories that you can think of. Stories, so maybe even like specific stories that you have. For me, my grandmother, that would be playing cards together. Okay. Shared values. Shared values are things that are important to you. And I even have this little link that's like your values and your beliefs, right? And I'm going to scroll down and just show some ideas of all different types of values, right? Core values list. Family, freedom, security, loyalty, intelligence, connection, creativity, humanity, success, respect, invention, diversity, generosity, honesty, adventure, kindness, teamwork, career, communication, learning, excellence, innovation, quality, commonality, contributing, courage, balance, compassion, fitness, professionalism, relationship, knowledge, patience, change, prosperity, wellness, finances, gratitude. And there are so much more here. So you can just kind of pause this video, take a look at some of those. For me, I'm going to put on there with my grandmother, something my grandmother and I have in common, a value that we share is hard work. We also value loyalty between family or loved ones. I think I'm going to put one more and just say like leadership. Okay, that's good. You can get like one value, preferably two, but if you get one, great. That's a good start. So then once you get your values, lastly are the interests. Interests are things that you and that person or pet connect with. So things you guys have in common, right? For me, my grandmother and I, we both love ice cream. Ice cream seems to be my theme this lesson. We also both love romantic comedies. We love watching romantic comedies. And that's pretty good. If you get like 5 bullet points there, that would be great. Just 5 bullet points on those connections. I'm going to stop share, and you can see here I filled out these symbolic connections. Now, when we do our collage, we're going to incorporate both literal, we're going to have literal connections and symbolic connections, right? So in your artist choice down here is when you're really going to start thinking, or artistic choices is when you're going to really start thinking about what is your collage going to look like when it's incorporating those symbolic and literal connections revolving around that person you wrote down. So for example, with my grandmother, one thing I know about her is that she always wears purple eyeshadow. So for my colors, because that's something we want to decide, right, is our color scheme. And I'll go back to one of these slides. You can see here, studio time part 2. For the rest of class, you have your artistic choices. So for me, there's like deciding a color scheme, deciding what images or symbols, and then just like creating a thumbnail sketch, getting some ideas down, right? Okay, so like I was saying, purple is definitely going to be a prominent color because my grandmother wears purple eyeshadow. Eyeshadow is that makeup that women wear on their eyelids, in case you're wondering. So I want to do that. Purple is cool colors. So maybe like a cool color scheme, right? You might do a warm color scheme. You might do a neutral color scheme, whatever you prefer. Just go ahead and get that color scheme down. Another thing would be images. Any images that stand out to you or that you would maybe like to incorporate. I might incorporate some religious symbols. I think I'm going to incorporate some form of like dresses, like the type that she wears. I think I'm going to incorporate something to do with Arizona and like Camelback Mountain, because that was just like a really impactful location that was important to me. So you can write down locations, images, symbols, and then color scheme as well in there. Right, that's going to help you be super successful in studio time. That was all that we did for studio time for lesson 3. For our next lesson, we are going to talk more about what our collages are going to look like, and just kind of go in more detail of like putting together those thumbnails. So don't worry if you're still not quite sure what your collage is going to look like. We are going to do some more brainstorming, but you definitely should have a better idea of literal connections and symbolic connections, because you are going to include both of those things in your collage. All right. Brainstorming process is not an immediate thing. Sometimes it happens over time. Sometimes you even change your mind halfway through your project, and that happens. All right. That's part of the beauty in art. And so I'm excited to continue this brainstorming journey with you guys as you create your very own art piece with lots of creative choice and lots of freedom in your design. All right. Peace out for now. Please email me if you have any questions. All right.